And we want to start, though, with a disturbing situation here in Minnesota, just west of the metro. A woman allegedly bludgeoned to death at her place of work in Cokato yesterday.
6 a.m. and the first thing he did was to grab a sledgehammer and bludgeon to death 20-year-old Amber Czech.
November 11th, 2025. A cold Tuesday morning in Cokato, Minnesota. Inside a quiet factory, machines sleeping, lights buzzing, 20-year-old welder Amber Czech clocked in for her shift. She had no idea that someone she worked beside, someone she barely spoke to, was watching her, waiting for the perfect moment to end her life. Amber was young, talented, driven, graduating from a welding program with honors, earning the respect of her instructors, and stepping into a career she loved. Every morning, she walked into the Allied Products factory in Minnesota with the same quiet pride. Steel-toed boots, gloves tucked in her pocket, hair tied back, ready to build something real. Her friends described her as warm, funny, and stubborn in the best way. She always stayed late to help coworkers, always pushed herself to learn more, and she talked constantly about saving money to buy her first home. She was the kind of woman who lifted others just by being around them. But while Amber was focused on her future, someone else inside that same factory was watching her future slip away, and his anger grew by the day. His name was Dylan, a co-worker who had a history of strange behavior, outbursts, and unresolved jealousy. He often complained that Amber was favored, that she got more attention from supervisors, that she didn't deserve her success. While she kept her head down and focused on her job, Dylan was quietly unraveling. Coworkers later recalled moments that now feel like warnings. His tense stares, his muttered comments under his breath, the way he would linger near Amber's station long after his shift ended. But no one imagined what he was truly capable of. No one realized that each small moment was another piece of a plan forming in the darkest corners of his mind. The morning it happened felt ordinary. Machines humming, metal clashing, the familiar smell of oil and steel in the air. Amber clocked in, grabbed her gear, and walked to her station, unaware that Dylan was already there, waiting. What happened next was sudden, violent, and so shocking that multiple workers froze before they understood what they were witnessing. In a matter of seconds, the environment that Amber loved, the place that represented hope, stability, and her hard-won future, became the scene of her final moments. Dylan attacked her with a brutality that investigators later described as personal and deliberate. The factory floor erupted into chaos as coworkers rushed toward the screaming, the blood, the horror. Amber, who had spent her life building, creating, and dreaming, was gone before help could arrive. And as police handcuffed Dylan, he showed no regret. Only a cold, empty calm. The entire community was left asking the same haunting question. How could someone destroy so bright a life out of nothing but jealousy and rage? It was early, around 6 a.m. Most workers had just arrived. Amber walked to her station, just a few feet away. 40-year-old co-worker David Bruce DeLong stood watching her. A man she barely knew, a man who had already made a decision. Today, he would kill her. With a slow, deliberate motion, DeLong reaches for a sledgehammer resting near Amber's table. He grips it firmly, almost gently, as if lifting something fragile instead of a weapon. Standing behind her, he raises it high above his head. There's no hesitation, no final moment of doubt. Just a decision carried out with terrifying clarity. A sickening, violent blow lands with a force that immediately changes everything. Amber collapses forward, stunned and injured, but DeLong doesn't stop. He swings again and again. Each strike is more deliberate than the last, fueled not by frenzy, but by something cold, controlled, and deeply disturbing. The attack unfolds in horrifying silence. Not because it's quiet, but because the constant roar of machinery swallows every sound. No one hears Amber fall. No one hears the strikes. Workers only a few feet away remain entirely unaware that a life is ending just meters from them. DeLong continues his assault until Amber lies motionless on the floor, her future stolen in seconds. When he finally steps back, the factory around him keeps moving, uninterrupted, unchanged, oblivious. It will be several long, painful moments before someone realizes that something is terribly wrong, before the horror of what happened in that silent corner of the building is discovered. Moments later, DeLong approaches another worker. "I hit her with your hammer," he says. "She is by your toolbox. She is gone." The coworker, confused and terrified, runs to the scene, only to find Amber lying in a pool of blood. A 911 call is placed. But it's too late. Amber is pronounced dead before paramedics arrive. Police radio chatter, slow zoom on crime scene tape. When deputies confront DeLong, he doesn't run, he doesn't resist. In fact, he confesses. Why did he do it? His answer: "I just didn't like her." No argument, no incident, no reason except hatred. He even tells investigators that he had been planning the murder, waiting for the right moment. That confession changes everything, turning the case from a shocking killing into a terrifying example of premeditated workplace violence. News spreads quickly. Amber's community collapses in grief. Her old school holds vigils. Friends from the welding program describe her as a rising star, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a young woman with her entire life ahead of her. Meanwhile, prosecutors charge DeLong with second-degree intentional murder, considering first-degree premeditated murder. Bail is set at $5 million. He is ordered to undergo a mental competency evaluation. But nothing changes the brutality of what he did. Amber's murder sparks fear across the country. Women in male-dominated trades speak out about harassment, hostility, being watched, being judged. Many say Amber's death feels like a warning, a reminder that some dangers hide in plain sight. Factories, instructors, and trade programs call for stronger protections, better reporting systems, and zero-tolerance policies for threats. Amber's tragedy becomes bigger than one crime. It becomes a national conversation about workplace safety and the silent dangers young women face in environments that don't protect them. Amber Czech was only 20. She went to work like any normal day. She was building a future, not knowing someone was quietly planning to steal it from her. Her life was stolen with a sledgehammer, not by a stranger, but by someone standing just a few feet away. This is the story of a promising young woman, a senseless act of violence, and a workplace that became a crime scene. May her story be remembered. If you want more true crime stories told with suspense and deep detail, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, sometimes the darkest dangers are standing right beside us.